Oh. Good evening, everybody. Welcome. Thank you all for being here tonight, and a special thank you to all of our speakers. We're really excited to hear from all of you. This event tonight is sponsored by the Dane Sanctuary Coalition. The Dane Sanctuary Coalition has been around for about 3.5 years. We announced our formation in July of 2017, and we are a consortium of congregations and nonprofit organizations that are committed to justice for our immigrant brothers and sisters. The Dane Sanctuary Coalition consists of about 21 congregations and another 8 or so organizations. And we have 3 host sites that are ready and willing to host somebody in sanctuary who is in imminent fear of deportation. Those 3 sites actually represent 6 congregations. Just by coincidence, our 3 sites are in buildings that are shared by 2 congregations. So it's Orchard Ridge United Church of Christ and Madison Mennonite Congregation is one host site. First Unitarian Society and Congregation Sha'arei Shemayim is another host site. And Madison Christian Community, which consists of Advent Lutheran Church and Community of Hope United Church of Christ. And our other congregations are valued members as well, and they work to support our host sites, and all of our congregations and organizations work to advocate for policies that are just and equitable for immigrants and refugees and asylum seekers, regardless of their status. So we are excited tonight to be able to share with you the amazing work of these wonderful people and their agencies, and give them a chance to tell you who they are, what their organization does, how they help immigrants and refugees and asylum seekers, and share with you a little bit about how you can help support their work and their organizations. So I'm going to stop talking because I'm not the important person here. And I'm going to ask Vanessa Avila from the Community Immigration Law Center to start us off.
Good evening, everybody. I apologize. I had to turn on my mic. My name is Vanessa. I'm a staff attorney at the Community Immigration Law Center. We are a 501c3 organization. We are housed inside Christ Presbyterian Church. It's actually one of the leaders there, John Renee. We are the brainstorm of him and volunteer attorneys that created this organization until we were able to bring on paid staff like myself and my supervisor and another attorney. As far as the work we do, we provide legal representation to detained Dane Madison counties, Dane Madison residents who are in danger of being deported, who are currently detained by immigration, and we provide them with legal representation to hopefully get them out on bond and follow them throughout the process of their case thereafter, whether or not they're detained. As far as what we do for the general public, we do provide free legal assessments on the second and fourth Friday of every month to people who have questions about immigration matters. Our next assessment actually is this Friday. So if you're interested, you would call our office, get on the list, and on Friday between 2 and 5 o'clock, you will have a free consultation with a volunteer attorney who will answer your questions. Something important to note about our organization is that we will follow the universal model, meaning we provide services despite of your legal criminal background or whether or not we believe your case has merits as far as winning or losing. Our most important task is to make sure everybody who's going through the immigration process is represented in order to ensure due process of that person's rights. If you're interested in volunteering with our organization, you can contact us via our website. I will make sure to put the contact information on the chat box. You can call our offices, and primarily right now, just bear in mind, we are currently closed due to COVID. We're housed inside CPC, which is close to the public as well. Therefore, just provide your information, whatever services you can provide. Particularly right now, I'm finding a need for language services, not just Spanish, French, Arabic, Chinese. If you're a second, third language speaker, please let us know so that if we need translators, we can use you versus having to pay for the services, because as a nonprofit, we are limited in funds. And if you're interested in helping out too financially, just can go to our website and you can donate there directly. And hopefully I'll answer any other questions you have later on in the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. That was great. And good timing too. I'd like to ask Fabiola Hamden to speak next.
I was hoping to be the last, Bonnie.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm kidding. Hola, buenas noches. Hello, everyone. Before I start my presentation, I just wanted to read something that I was looking in some materials for some things that we're going to be doing with our office. I found this, so please pay attention. It says, there is no moral or logical reason to not welcome our immigrant neighbors. So we are going to fight for them. We are going to stand by them, and we are going to help them in their quest to realize the American dream. This was written by our county executive, Joe Parisi. And when I read American Dream, you know, it's really hard, especially at this time, to really realize what is this American dream when we are listening about these 500 plus children that don't have their parents. So what is this American dream? And I want you to think about that. So, my name is Fabiola Hamden. I am the Immigration Affairs Supervisor with the Dane County. I am a social worker. I came to this country from La Paz, Bolivia 35 years ago. And I went to school here, found a nice living here, family, kids, and the job of my dream. This is a hard job, but it's the job of my dream. So in the Immigration Affairs Office, what do we do, right? We have myself as a social worker, bilingual, and I have another social worker who's also bilingual, bicultural. So we provide assistance to the immigrant refugee community, not only the Latino community. And by the assistance, I mean that we connect people with resources in the community, everything that relates to immigration assistance. We have wraparound funds, so we can help our clients in need of assistance to filing fees or basic needs such as housing, rent, etc. I did community social work for 18 years within county, and I am very acquainted with the Joining Forces for Families, very acquainted about the services and the wonderful programs and agencies we have in Dane County. And I must tell you, we are very lucky to live here in the county. And if you hear that banging thing, it's my son building something in the garage. I apologize about that. So with the Immigration Affairs Services, as I say, we do a lot of case management, advocacy, like tonight, presentations. And more than a presentation, Bonnie, I wanted to say that we are presenting, but we are connecting with people. And this connection and this type of gatherings are helping us to be strong, to advocate. So we do a lot of advocacy, outreach, try to do a lot of problem solving, navigate the Dane County Resource Services, sometimes a little bit complex. We do some certifications for the U visa. We do some passport assistance for children that are born in the United States and need assistance with passports. So we do that, some training, some presentations. And the big thing of our job is to collaborate and have allies. So we work very closely with Hispano, the Community Immigration Law Center, Vanessa, Aisa, Laura, Catholic Multicultural Center. We have Janice here, Jewish Social Services, Rice Law Center, UW Law School, the Immigration Justice Clinic, and so many other allies, so many other private immigration attorneys that really lend a hand and help us to help the people, vulnerable people there. Due to COVID, obviously, we're not in our offices like we would like to, but we're still working remotely. And so in a nutshell, it's just that we're trying to really connect with people, trying to assist as much as we can. We have our social work, we're social workers, social work background. We work a lot, with you, Vani, the Dane Sanctuary Coalition, Open Doors to Refugees, Voces de la Frontera. So I feel lucky to have been surrounded by all these organizations that the goal is to help our immigrant, our most vulnerable people that are in need of assistance. So I don't know what else to tell you, just that I feel that it is very important at this time that we all get united and just try to connect with each other and do our best to serve our immigrant population.
Thank you. Thank you. That was great. We have two people from the Dane Sanctuary Coalition who are going to talk about different aspects of the work of Dane Sanctuary and how people can get involved. So I'm going to ask Laura Stalder to start.
Hi, my name is Laura Stalder, and I am a member of Plymouth UCC, but became involved with the Dane Sanctuary Coalition's committee called Community Resource Team pretty much after DSC formed. Obviously, if the goal of Dane Sanctuary Coalition is to be able to have the facilities and the staffing to provide sanctuary for a person, we needed to be able to have volunteers who were equipped to do that. So the community resource team is made up of representatives from various faith communities who are part of DSC. And our job is to recruit the volunteers, to train them, and then to work within our system for scheduling jobs. We realized that if we were committed to providing basically 24/7 support so that somebody would be at a host site with an individual, maybe not directly doing very much, but available in case ICE were to come to the door, for example, and other various things involved with hosting somebody, we really needed to have a large pool of folks who are equipped to do this. So that's been the majority of our work up to this point. We currently have probably close to 150 volunteers who are either totally approved to volunteer or are in some part of the process. It takes a lot of bodies to be able to, really do a great job providing sanctuary. A good example of that is back in September, the Dane Sanctuary Coalition, in conjunction with its partner, Centro Hispano and Voces de la Frontera, decided that we would offer a host site for a Honduran family of 5 who were asylum seeking. So the host site was at Orchard Ridge, Madison Mennonite. They were there for several months. We probably had around 130 volunteers in total from 12 different congregations who were involved with that. So we are always looking for more volunteers. When a person is interested in being involved with supporting somebody in sanctuary, whether that be on-site support, maybe it's delivering a meal, running an errand, doing laundry, we do have a training, Know Your Rights training, that we ask everybody to go through. Another requirement is that folks sign a non-disclosure agreement so that we can ensure the privacy of our guests. And then for folks who have more direct contact with the person in sanctuary, or we would do a background check. We keep track of all of that. We are also interested in knowing if folks have bilingual skills or some skill that would be useful, perhaps in supporting somebody in sanctuary. We've worked at trying to identify within some of our larger congregations individuals who are volunteer coordinators for that congregation. So right now, we have 15 congregations who have a volunteer coordinator. So as you listen to this, and if you're thinking of getting involved and you're involved with a faith community, a starting point would be for you to connect with me to see if perhaps there's a volunteer coordinator that I can connect you with, or I directly can help you as well. The other component that we do in our committee is keep our ears open as to additional trainings that volunteers might need. So for example, with the Orchard Ridge Mennonite experience, which was very positive for volunteers, we realized we needed to put together cultural awareness training and trauma training, which is something that will be upcoming for us. So I'll put my contact information in the chat, and you can email me directly and I can get you to whomever can help you. The other option for you is on the Dane Sanctuary Coalition site, which I believe is, Bonnie, is through Wisconsin Faith Voices still. You'll see a volunteer form. So if you were to fill that out, that would also get to me as well. So if you're interested, excellent. I actually see some names in the participants of folks who I know are already approved and have volunteered. Or perhaps you're connected with individuals that might be interested. Just follow up with me or the form. Thanks.
Great, thank you, Laura. So I'm going to ask Dan Zimmerman to speak next about the volunteer driver program.
Good evening. Dorrit Bergen and I are the co-coordinators for the volunteer drivers. We are, in essence, a subgroup of the coalition. We get referrals from immigration attorneys, such as Vanessa or Aisa, as well as potentially from Fabiola and some others. The referrals are generally to take individuals from, generally from their home, to Milwaukee or Chicago. Milwaukee, it's for the purpose of getting their photograph and fingerprints, so biometrics, which happens early on in the immigration process. The other purpose for Milwaukee is security checks for individuals who don't have a permanent address yet. They may end up having to wear an ankle bracelet so that the immigration service knows where they are at. But once they've got a permanent address, they can get their ankle bracelet taken off. Or to Chicago for asylum hearings or for relocation hearings or for other hearings. There's two different places in Chicago that we've taken people. Generally, the referrals are for individuals who are living in Dane County, but we've had a few individuals from other areas. So I've been to Berlin, which is up by Oshkosh, and to Darlington, which is south of Mineral Point, and also to Janesville. As was said, not everybody is from Mexico or Central America. So I've taken a retired university professor and his wife from Iraq to Milwaukee for their biometrics. I've taken somebody from Jordan to Milwaukee. Well, yeah, to Milwaukee. She was from Janesville, but she was originally from Jordan. But this was for an asylum hearing. So it can be from elsewhere, but most of the referrals are for individuals in Dane County. We've also taken an individual to, so we've gotten requests to pick up an individual from Kenosha County Jail, because that's one of the detention sites in Wisconsin, to the Milwaukee office of the United States Customs and Immigration Service, so they can go through that initial biometrics. That ended up being canceled, but that we've gotten a referral for that. And we've also gotten a referral to transport an individual from home to UW Carbone Cancer Center. So there are a few other things that we certainly can and should consider assisting immigrants with. There are some immigrants who do have a license and access to a car, but may not wish to drive to Milwaukee or Chicago for a number of reasons. But among them simply is getting lost, as well as, and then there are many people who don't have a license or don't have access to a car. Let's see. Oftentimes there's just a single rider, but there have been times that we've needed a volunteer driver who's got access to an SUV, because we've taken as family members of up to 5 for the same process. That doesn't happen often, but certainly can occur. Anything else here? You do not need to be, you don't need to know a foreign language, but it certainly can help. Google Translate gets across a lot of the basics to be able to effectively deal with issues that may come up with your rider. And other questions we can deal with later on. I will put a chat in there with my email address as well as Dorit's. If you have interest in being a volunteer driver in the future, if we don't already have you on the list, and you would like to go through some training, send us an email, and so I'll put that in the chat. That's what I got.
Great, thank you, Dan. So next I'm going to ask Karen Menendez-Kohler from Centro Hispano. Centro Hispano is one of our lead organizations for the Dane Sanctuary Coalition. Karen?
Thanks, Bonnie. I hope everybody can hear me. It's always nice to be together. I was reflecting as people were speaking how much this group of partner organizations has grown since 2016 and even before then. So I've been the executive director of Centro Hispano for 7 years now. I'm originally an immigrant from El Salvador via California and landed here in Madison about 7 years ago. Centro is really, a trusted access point for the community when it comes to services in Dane County. This is a county that really lacks in sufficient bilingual, bicultural services. At Centro, we provide youth development and empowerment services. We don't believe we're there to save our community. We're there to walk alongside them in their journey and make sure that they have the tools to truly thrive and achieve all their full potential. We provide significant wraparound supports when it comes to stabilizing families and a number of issues, but probably most pertinent is we have a Department of Justice accredited representative that works closely with all of the legal entities that are here represented tonight. We also run a program that provides case management support and legal navigation for individuals that have been justice involved. So we see around 900 men a year, issues related to alcohol use and driving without a driver's license, immigration status, and all of these things kind of come together. And so we provide services in that regard. And we do a lot of community engagement. I'm proud that we are a trusted hub for the community, but also for our partners. So, we're thankful that we have a Voces de la Frontera office at Centro. We work very closely with the Office of Immigration Affairs. We engage community when it comes to the county, the city, the mayor's office, and the school district, because we believe that the systems in place need to be there to support our community. Unfortunately, they're growing and developing as our community continues to grow. And so we know that we got to do things hand in hand. But there's significant amount of trauma that comes with being an immigrant in this community and in this country, especially over the last 4 or 5 years. So one thing that I want to make sure people understand is that when you're dealing with immigration, you're not dealing only with a legal issue. We're dealing with a whole person and everything that comes along with that. The impact that it takes when you leave a country of origin and you try to establish roots in a place that's not ready to receive you. And so one thing that I'll say is that right now we have a campaign, an appeal going on for resilience. And the whole goal of that appeal is, well, one, to raise dollars for Centro as this coordinating place, but more importantly, I think to engage in conversation about what resilience means to this community. So, you know, if you have a thought around resilience, as you're hearing the speakers tonight, #resilience, reflect on what makes you strong as a member of this community. And I would even say, you know, volunteer opportunities. I remember when we were talking about the drivers program as part of Dane Sanctuary Coalition. And, you know we're always in need of legal supports in this county. The work Silk, CMC, JSS is going to speak. And then Fabiola, her wraparound fund with assistance that our family needs, financial assistance as we return from COVID. So think about also giving to all of these organizations that during this time, as we prepare for the election, are really going to be faced with the challenges. No matter who wins, we want to make sure that our community is strong and that we emerge out of this together. So I'll just go ahead and leave it at that. I'll put our website on the chat, and thanks so much for the invitation, Bonnie. You've always been such an incredible ally when we most needed it.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you for everything that you do in the community and with the Dane Sanctuary Coalition. We literally could not do our work without you. So I'm going to ask Laura Green from the Catholic Multicultural Center, and if y'all will just bear with me for a second, she is going to share her screen, so I have to make her co-host so she can do that. Laura, sorry, I'm finding you in my list.
Yeah, no problem. Well, good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming out on this fall evening to talk about immigration and how we can work together to support immigrants in our community. I am the Grants and Volunteer Coordinator at the Catholic Multicultural Center. I'll be talking in general about some of the services that we do, and then my colleague Janice will be talking specifically about our immigration legal services. Let's see if that works. Okay, can everyone see our website there?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I just thought visuals are kind of helpful. So I'm just gonna walk through some of what we do this way. And I'm going to focus on what we're doing during the pandemic. So in general, the CMC's main mission is to help people in need by serving the needs of the whole person. So we offer a variety of programs and services to help people meet their basic needs, but also to help people long term so they can build a brighter future. So we are the only agency in the county to serve a free community meal every single day of the week, year round. We're still doing our meal program during the pandemic, and we're able to do that to go from our parking lot. So everyone's welcome to come and get a meal from the CMC. We also offer a food pantry that's open twice a week, so people can come and visit and get their, some food staples to take home with them. We're also doing that from the parking lot and giving out prepackaged food boxes during the pandemic. And along with the food pantry, at least for a couple more weeks, we offer a food pantry garden. So we have almost an acre of land through a partnership with the Madison Area Food Pantry Gardens. And we're able to grow pretty much unlimited fresh produce for our pantry and our meal program that we're able to give away to people. We We also offer employment search assistance, especially if you're a recent immigrant. One of the first things you need to do is find a job.
Oh, Laura, I'm afraid you're frozen. Laura, you're frozen. We're not hearing you. Laura? Oh, there you are. Oh, I'm sorry, everybody. I think we've lost Laura temporarily. Janice, I'm going to ask if you would take over from here.
Okay. Laura said she'll be right back, so maybe we can sandwich our talks. I am the Immigration Services Coordinator at the Catholic Multicultural Center, and before I came to CMC, I worked at Jewish Social Services for 27 years. I'm a huge proponent of community collaboration, and it is absolutely an honor to be working at CMC and working collaboratively with all of the agencies that are here tonight, including Jewish Social Services. At JSS, I resettled refugees for 15 years before we started the county's first nonprofit immigration legal program in 2005. So I am an accredited representative, a fully accredited representative. That means that basically I can provide the same services, the same type of representation that an immigration attorney can, both with the Department of Homeland Services and also with the court. Laura is back, so do you want me to finish, Rabbi Bonnie? And
yeah, why don't you finish, and then if Laura just wants to wrap up without showing her screen, I think that would be easier.
That sounds great. Okay, so I've been at CMC for the last 3.5 years, and I say that is where I work, but it's really for me what I do in the immigration community and have been doing with refugees and asylees and immigrants for the last 3 decades is a calling. Each day I honor the memory of my father-in-law, Ilya Fixel, who was a Holocaust survivor. And I resettled him when he immigrated here as a refugee when my son Jacob was just 10 days old. So at CMC, we have, our program consists of myself, and we have a full-time attorney, a part-time attorney, and a legal assistant. So our staff is relatively small, but we have a very large caseload. So right now, we have over 300 low and no income immigrants, refugees, and asylees on our caseload. And our service area is Dane County, and then also 10 surrounding counties, although the majority of our cases, about 80%, are in Dane County. Since 2017, we've provided services to folks from 65 countries and 14 different languages. And also a shout out to those who are able and interested to volunteer with us in many different capacities, one of which is as an interpreter. That would be fantastic. We'll make sure that we give you our information. We only serve folks who are very low income, and 80% of the immigrants, refugees, asylees that we serve have income less than 150% of the poverty guideline. And last year, more than 1/3 of the folks that we worked with had income that was less than the poverty guideline. But we never, ever turn down anybody due to inability to pay. And we're particularly seeing, of course, now through the pandemic, more and more need for financial support for our folks, both in accessing our services and being able to afford applications with immigration services. We offer a very comprehensive set of immigration legal services. We help folks apply for green cards, family-based cases, asylees and refugees who are applying for green cards, U visas who are now eligible to apply for green cards, and also green cards for those who are eligible based on the Violence Against Women's Act. We help refugees, asylees, lawful permanent residents, and US citizens reunite with family members petitioning for relatives that are abroad. And of course, naturalization and citizenship applications. And we particularly specialize in folks who are unable to speak English or take the civics and history exam due to, for medical reasons. We work with many elderly refugees who've been in the United States for more than 5 years and are in jeopardy of losing their benefits if they don't become citizens. Of course, we work with DACA, and with our DACA recipients, we do a full screening because up to 20% of DACA recipients are also eligible for other benefits. We also work with asylum seekers, both filing applications with the asylum office in Chicago and in court, and so many other things. So we also have expanded our services in the last year to include representation in immigration court, and there too, a variety of cases, including asylum and SIJ, the special immigrant juvenile visas, and more. And of course, our outreach to the community. We're very holistic in our approach. So each time we meet with somebody, and they come in to talk about their legal process, we talk about what else is going on in their life and make sure that their basic needs are being met and discuss support services, which at CMC, Laura will talk more about, and started talking about our food program and job program. We have ESL and citizenship classes. And that note, I'll turn it back to Laura and she can tell you a little bit more about that.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. My internet went out. Yeah, so part of the comprehensive services that we're able to assist people with, I was talking about our employment search assistance office, which, just in addition to appointment, it just helps people navigate the systems of, anything related to a job or even just filling out other paperwork that they might need to do. I was saying that with the pandemic, we're now a site where people can get assistance filling out the Tenant Resource Center rental assistance application. With the onset of the pandemic, we started a food pantry delivery program for people who, for different reasons, can't physically come to our food pantry safely. And we do offer English as a second language classes that are all taught by volunteer teachers and helpers. Last year, we served 187 students from 41 countries with 22 different first languages spoken between them. So we're just a place that's known and trusted in the immigrant community for people for all over the world. And to be able to do that, we need the support of the community. Right now in particular, we have a lot of different volunteer opportunities that we're looking to fill, from serving meals to helping in the food pantry, doing virtual ESL tutoring, and doing the food pantry delivery driving. So right now is a crucial time that we're needing help. So you can feel free to reach out to us or any of the other agencies here on the call, because I know we all run on the support of volunteers. So any way you can share and give your time with any of us here would be much appreciated.
Great. Thank you, Laura. If you would put contact information into the chat, that would be great. Thank you. I'm going to ask Perla Rubio from the UW Immigration Law Clinic to speak next.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Before I start, I would like to thank the Dane County Coalition on behalf of the Immigrant Justice Clinic for putting this amazing virtual event together and for inviting us to be a part of it. My name is Perla Rubio, and I'm currently the clinical instructor at the Immigrant Justice Clinic. I was born in El Paso, Texas, but actually raised right across the border in Ciudad Juarez, Chihuahua. I recently graduated from UW Law School in May of 2020, but have been working with the Immigrant Justice Clinic since May of 2018. The Immigrant Justice Clinic is a pro bono legal clinic. It is one of the 5 clinics that form the Economic Justice Institute at the University of Wisconsin Law School. Our offices are actually located in the law school. Unfortunately, due to the recent pandemic, our offices are not physically open, but we are still operating remotely. Our services. The Immigrant Justice Clinic provides free legal services to the Wisconsin's immigrant community. At the same time, we train law school students in immigration law. We provide direct representation to non-citizens who are requesting relief from deportation. This may include filing applications for humanitarian relief, also victims that have been victims of crime, persecution, human trafficking, and also defending non-citizens facing removal before the Chicago Immigration Court. So we represent non-citizens in all their proceedings before the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services and before the Chicago Immigration Court. We also make monthly visits every third Friday of every month to Dodge County Detention Center in Juneau, Wisconsin, to conduct screenings and provide legal assistance to non-citizens detained by ICE, the Immigration and Customs Enforcement. We are currently providing these services telephonically because of the pandemic, but we are trying our very best to adjust to this new normal. Finally, the clinic also engages in appellate advocacy on behalf of non-citizens through filing written legal briefs with the Board of Immigration Appeals. We also work with criminal defense attorneys to negotiate plea agreements that will not adversely affect our clients. And we also work with very different professionals in the medical field, in the legal field, depending on the need of our client's case. We also provide volunteer opportunities. We provide office opportunities with administrative work, but also in the community as well through our Dutch visits. And I think that's it. I'm happy to post right now in the chat our information, my contact information, and hope to hear from everybody that's interested. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. I'm introducing now Dawn Vernay, who's the Executive Director of Jewish Social Services. Dawn?
Unmute. Okay, now we're good. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here tonight. And I have to admit, part of the reason I was so excited to be here was because there are a number of our partner agencies that I'm actually getting to see our partners, like at least on Zoom, if not in person. And I really do miss all of you and miss our being able to interact. So Bonnie, just for that reason, I have to say thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to be part of this. Okay, now for the actual official work. Jewish Social Services is an agency that's been around since 1978. Actually, even before that, way back in the 1940s, we actually started out to help displaced people coming, Jews in particular, coming from Europe during and after World War II. So the history of working with immigrants has been around since before we officially even had a name. I'm going to talk about a number of our different programs. I am very briefly going to mention our immigration legal services program. Janice, actually, thank you, Janice, did a very nice job of talking about it a little bit. She is the one that started our program up a number of years ago. And We have restarted the program in the last couple of years. We are a Department of Justice accredited agency that can provide consultations to individuals and families to understand their immigration legal options. We're a little bit different than some of the other agencies in that with our legal services, we are completely focused on refugees and asylees. So we work with clients regarding adjustment of status, like their green cards. We help with family reunification, travel documents, and citizenship. We do charge a fee, but you need to be very low income to even be eligible to work with us. And we do have fee waivers and reductions for people who cannot afford our fees. We have on staff, which is very helpful, employees who speak Arabic, American Sign Language, French, Russian, and Spanish. And when we have to, we have volunteers and community interpreters who speak Dari, Farsi, Kiruandan, Nepalese, and Swahili. Those generally are the languages that we are most likely to need. We are currently the only refugee resettlement agency in Dane County. We used to do it with Lutheran Social Services. Unfortunately, they stopped doing the work 2 years ago. So JSS has case managers who assist both immigrants and non-immigrants, individuals and families who are facing disabilities, illness, homelessness, or other significant challenges. With regard to refugees, people who have refugee status who have arrived within the past 5 years, we have additional funding that we can provide even more services. And these are barriers they may have related to anything from their physical or mental health to being a single parent, being an older adult, being HIV positive, being LGBTI+, a variety of different things. And with that, we provide 12-month intensive case management. These are clients that are going to need additional help to become self-sufficient. So our goal is really to work with everybody so that they can be as independent as appropriate for them. And for some people, it means we provide them some help for 3 months and they are ready to go. And for other people, we are going to be working with them for a long time to come because their lives before and still are not very easy. We do a lot of work helping refugees with employment and ESL referrals. Those are some of the biggest things that we're doing. And especially with COVID, that's really an area that we've been focusing on. The other thing is that as the reception and placement agency for Dane County, we're responsible for all refugees who first arrive in Madison, and we're responsible for working with them very intensely for the first 3 months. So when they arrive, we have to make sure they have a fully furnished apartment. We need to make sure that they are enrolled in healthcare and they go to their doctor's appointments. They're enrolled in public benefits. If they have kids, we get their kids enrolled in school. If they don't speak English, we work with them to register for ESL classes, whether it's at Madison College or the Literacy Network or Centro Hispano or CMC. We are working with all of them as partners, which has just been great. And we're really working to help make them as independent as possible, as quickly as possible. One of the other things I know we're supposed to be talking about is the idea of volunteering. One of our newest programs is a mentorship program that we're just starting up now, and it's specifically focused on our clients who are at higher need for self-sufficiency. So since it is a brand new program, that is something that we are just starting to look for volunteers for that program, but it's going to be an exciting program and that it gives people in the community an opportunity to connect directly with members of our families. And that's a really good thing. Like everyone else, we could use volunteer drivers. Many of our clients do drive and do have cars, but not all of them. And we are hoping that in a few weeks or months, we will actually be getting new refugees arriving in Dane County. Because of COVID, that's been almost completely put on hold. In 2020, we only resettled 18 people, as compared to last year where I believe we resettled 65. So that's a huge drop in numbers, and we're hoping to do more, and we will need support from the community, assuming that gets up and running, because if it gets up and running, we may get a number of people coming all at the same time, and we will really need help. And quite honestly, the biggest need that we have is help with finding housing for larger families. We know we have 2 families of 8 in the pipeline, and we are really worried about being able to find affordable housing for them when they arrive. And we are generally given at most 2 months notice. We've been given as little as 48 hours on occasion. So if you have any ideas on apartments or houses that are cheap for 8 people, please let me know, because that more than anything is what we need in terms of help from the community right now. And of course, as Karen said, donations with flexibility is always helpful for us with all the work that we do. And thank you for this opportunity. And again, Rabbi Bonnie, thank you so much.
Thank you, Dawn. Thank you for all your work. So we have 2 more speakers. I'm going to ask Bianca Tomasini, who is the Madison organizer for Voces de la Frontera. And Bianca has been tireless in attending Dane Sanctuary Coalition steering committee meetings. And Voces, along with Centro, are the 2 backbone lead organizations for the Dane Sanctuary Coalition. Bianca?
Well, thank you so much, Bonnie, for inviting me and all the work that you do. You are in so many. I was going to talk about the coalitions that we work with, and I think you're in like the vast majority of them. So thank you for all you do. So as you might know, Voces de la Frontera is a statewide organization and with many chapters, including Madison. And we have the mission of in broad terms, protection and advocacy for people, low-wage workers, and also and primarily people with undocumented immigration status. And so in general, everything we do is a fight for justice. And so in Madison, we are housed in Centro Hispano. So it's at some point I did see Karen a little bit more often, and now after COVID, so of course we can't be there, understandably. So it's been, and that's when I kind of was starting this position. So it's been a little rough, but I'm very grateful to be able to work remotely and still be in touch, try to be in touch with the community as we listen out for primarily worker justice issues, particularly again, people with undocumented immigration status and their needs. And so some of the bigger things that we do is, of course, advocacy and coalition building around some of these needs for driver's licenses, which really impacts the community, and sanctuary. And we have been, again, forming coalitions with Dane Sanctuary and Kids Forward, and we work with different organizations in order to advocate at the Capitol and also around the community for these needs. And we're still working. We're not there, but we're always in that fight. We are trying to form and work with the different organizations in town, including the Immigration Affairs Office and Dignity at Work Coalition, in different areas of immigration and worker rights. And then we also have a strong electoral push. Well, we've been out in the community disseminating information on the census, which is not electoral, but anyhow, we've been out there trying to get people to fill out the census, and then also those who can vote to really engage them in the electoral process. So we've been out safely as possible with mask and shield and everything, talking to people about the election and trying to identify those potential voters, making lots of phone calls, being out there. And then I've been doing also some collaborations with the Dane County Voter ID Coalition, the ACLU, in translating materials, so that everybody has the chance to get some of this electoral information in Spanish. And then we have well, actually, one thing I wanted to say is that Dane County, the conditions here are so much better in many respects. When I was talking about Sanctuary, when we're talking about an office such as Fabiola's, that is dedicated to helping people in different immigration situations, and Silk, all these different organizations. I think we are very fortunate, even though there's still a lot of need, and compared to many other places that I hear about in the state, I think I'm very happy to be in Dane County. We also have a 501c4 arm, which is called Voces de la Frontera Action. And there we are currently emphasizing that arm, and that one allows us to advocate expressly for candidates that support immigrants. So we have a process of endorsement, and that candidates fill out a questionnaire for, and of course also we go through a lot of deliberation in terms of higher office, but yeah, we are out there doing that work, canvassing, and we are in need of volunteers always. And we actually have paid canvasser positions at this time. So if you are interested, I will put my information down in the chat. After the election, we continue to meet every month virtually. I'm sure it'll be for a while yet. And we have committees that are dedicated to civic engagement, and others that are dedicated to demilitarization and membership. So yes, we always welcome volunteers for sure. And also we appreciate your membership, because that's what supports the organization. And that way you will be connected to all the information that's coming, all the actions that we take. As you know, we have been advocating for Sanctuary, and licenses, driver's licenses have taken the form of strikes. For example, the Day Without Latinos, which has tremendous impact in advocating for these issues. So you'd be more easily informed as members, and you would support our work. So I will put that information down, and I hope you join us. And thank you everyone for all the amazing work that you do for immigrants. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bianca. And so finally, and last but totally not least, I'd like to ask Grizel Rodriguez from RISE to share with us about RISE Law Center.
Sorry, I was muted. So I'm actually from RISE, Wisconsin, not RISE Law Center. So just to be more specific about it. But I can share about Rise, Wisconsin. We are a nonprofit organization. Rise was merged in 2017, which was a Community Partnerships Inc. and Center for Families. And then this is, an agency that serves family from different backgrounds. The services that we offer are for children and families, young adults. And one of the strengths that I like about Rise is that we provide services that supports in education, stabilization, making sure that families get enrolled in public benefits, help them with employment and education. And one of the things that I would like to share also is about the Respite Center, which I know a lot of families don't know about it, but it is a program of ours that it is kind of like a childcare but it is for emergencies. In now, because of COVID, it has changed the policies. So you really have to call ahead of time, because what we have encountered in the past is families need to go for a medical appointment or immigration appointment, and they don't have a family member, friends that can take care of their children. They can always come to this space, which is, an amazing place to be for children. I mean, the first time I walked in there was really good, and I wish I could kind of share the space, but I don't think I can. I'm just trying, but I can't share my screen.
Oh, I can. Hold on. All right. Did you get a message saying you're now co-host?
I think it only says I need to get permission from the host. That's all I can see. But oh, there it is. Here. Okay. I don't know if you can see right here, but this is pretty much the space. So, and we also provide a variety of programs that again are based on, most of them on early childhood. But again, we are happy to serve a family that, it does non-speakers, and when they don't speak English, we are able to provide a interpretation line, so language line. So that really makes it a lot easier. And so one of the things that I do also like about Rise is that the support that we can offer to families, we don't do it as many of other organizations here, but we have, or at least myself, I have been able to drive a family to Milwaukee just because of the circumstances of the family. But again, it is something that we can always talk with clients. And again, if you or anyone knows about a family who has children 0 to 5 and are in need of, any support in case management, I do have openings in my caseload right now. So I will also share my information. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So thank you so much to all of our speakers and for the amazing work that all of you do. It's we couldn't do any of the work that we do with the Dane Sanctuary Coalition without all of you. We really rely on all of you for helping us to connect with people who are in need that the Sanctuary Coalition can help, and helping us to connect our volunteers with you all and the amazing work that you all do. So I'm going to open it up for questions. And what I'm going to ask is, if you have questions, if you're on Zoom, please put your questions in the chat. And if you are listening on Facebook, you can put your comments or your questions in the comment section. So I'm just going to give everybody a minute or two to type their questions in if they have any. I don't see any questions coming in. So everybody has done a wonderful job of putting all of your contact information into the chat. And as I said at the beginning, this event is being recorded. It will be on the Dane Sanctuary Coalition Facebook page. And hopefully we will soon have a YouTube channel where we will also place the video so you can watch it again. If anybody has any further questions, you can always also email me, and I'm putting my email address in the chat as well. So if anybody missed anything that they want to hear more about, or lost somebody's email address and wants to connect with them, you can always connect with me, and I will put you in touch with the person that you're looking for. So thank you again to all of our speakers for taking the time to be with us tonight to share the amazing work that you all do. And thank you for all the work that you do in our community. We are so lucky and blessed. And I think as we've all heard from each one of you, Dane County is particularly blessed to have all these amazing, wonderful people doing this life-saving work. And we appreciate all of you so much. So thank you all. And please, everybody, if you have not yet voted, go vote. Bring 3 people with you to vote. Tell everybody you know to go vote. That's your job for the next 2 weeks, is to get everybody you know to go vote. All right. Thank you all. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bonnie.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.